Jonathan Gannon, the most overrated coach in the NFL. How do we grade Jalen Hurts? What were the major takeaways of the Eagles versus Lions game? All that and more on the latest Eagles post-game live. Oh, baby, what is going on, guys? Eagles get the W, 38-35. It wasn't pretty. We are here to break it all down. Player of the game, top takeaways, grading Jalen Hurts, all the above. Thank you, everyone, for joining, guys. If you're watching us live, please be sure to comment. Please be sure to let us know your thoughts and reaction on this game. If you're watching us on Edge of Philly Sports, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, as well as the Paint Lines. Thank you, everyone. Joining me, my man, Rob Lange. He is down there at Philly_Madness. What is up, Rob?
Week one, and I'm already miserable. Now, look, listen. Glad they got the win, but there's a lot of negative things that need to be discussed, and that's what I'm here for today. I'm here to bring the negative to the show because, well, damn it, that's who I am.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about tonight. This might be a longer post-game show than usual. Joining my man over there, he is at @halfandhalf_TPL. He is Clark Kent. What's up, Shane?
What's up, guys?
There's Superman.
I forgot to take my disguise off. My bad.
And then we've got, I don't know, he might be Ty Book. He might be Chris Moneymaker. I don't know who that is. But what's going on, Ty?
Oh, man, that was just a really difficult start to the season, and with a win, right? So happy with the W, but that was way more stressful than most people were expecting. Yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah, let's jump right in, and let's start with Jalen Hurts. Guys, Jalen Hurts finished the game over 300 total yards, 243 through the air, 18 of 32, and quarterback rating of 80.6. His escapability was excellent, especially in the first half. He had 90 yards on the ground and a touchdown. There are times when he left a clear, clean pocket. There are times when he underthrew the ball. There are times where he threw the ball really well, especially on that 54-yard pass down the sideline to A.J. Brown. Another up-and-down game from Jalen Hurts. I'll throw it to you, Shane. How would you grade Jalen Hurts in this game?
I would give him like a D. I thought he made that one pass, the long ball to A.J. Brown was a really good throw. Other than that, he looked bad. He did not play a good football game. He bailed from clean pockets. He did not take hot reads. He did not take check downs. I thought Jalen Hurts played a pretty poor football game today.
All right. What about you, Rob?
C-. I thought he was going to the run way too quickly. I don't think he was staying there enough. I think there was one play where he avoided pressure and then decided to try and run and only got 3 yards and missed A.J. Brown wide open on a cross that would have ended the game then earlier in the fourth quarter. I thought he really badly underthrew a couple balls. Not just like underthrew it, like really badly underthrew Devontae Smith. I thought he keyed in on A.J. Brown, and I get it. And A.J. Brown was tremendous, and the guy's a beast, and I love him. But I thought he keyed in there, and that was it. I mean, for Devontae Smith to come out of a game with 0 catches, I put, as much as I put that on Devontae Smith, I put it on Jalen Hurts. Look, you play the Detroit Lions, and you won by 3 points, and you put up a lot of points, but you're not doing that against better teams. Starting next week with Minnesota, you better stay home and throw the ball sometimes. Not his best effort.
I agree. What about you, Ty?
C minus only because of the W. Did not pick up the blitz multiple times outside blitz packages that he just didn't see. I thought that the first drive of the game got him happy feet. I thought he didn't have a ton of time on the first drive, and that just carried over the rest of the game. Whenever the pocket broke down, or even a couple of times when it didn't actually break down, he broke pocket and the eyes dropped immediately. Not what I wanted to see. I think it was a fired up Lions team. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna discount the fact that it's week one and in your own building, first sell out in a really long time at that place, but just not good. Not what you need. Not what you're hoping to see when you're saying that he's the guy who proves whether we're a winner or a loser this year. At least that's how I look at it. Yeah, C minus only because of the win. D if it was anything else, or F.
Yeah, I'll play happy medium. I'll be the politician here. I'll say D plus. We have Quinn in the house thing. C minus, made some plays, missed some plays. EC1 says Gannon sucks. Hurts was good. That's debatable. I'm a big Miles Sanders guy, and I thought he was one of the bright spots of this game, which we'll get into a little bit. Quinn also likes Sanders. Yeah, Rob.
I just going to say, except why is he not in the game? I know that everyone's going to say that's the coaches, but something tells me that's him not being, having the gas to get back in the game after that long run. And that's an issue. You're the number one back. Get your ass back in the game. You tell them I'm going back in the game.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say about Jalen Hurts, and I agree, it was not a good Jalen Hurts game, is that he did perform okay or above average on third down. This was an area of major weakness for Jalen Hurts last year. He had a quarterback rating of 73.8, 7 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in 20 games in his career on third down. He did generally very well, and that was arguably the difference in this game until the fourth quarter when everything just fell through. So Jalen Hurts, not a good game. His escapability was on display, especially in the first half, but we already know that. What we need to see from Jalen Hurts is this guy to take that next step as a passer. And I can't help but think the blueprint is out on Jalen Hurts, especially during that Tampa Bay Bucs game when they just loaded the box, blitz, and Jalen Hurts at the end of the game missed wide open guys there because he puts his head down way too fast and misses guys wide open down the field. That is the takeaway of Jalen Hurts. So not a terrible game, but we're definitely not a good game from Jalen Hurts. We have another comment. Michael's in the house saying Lions ain't a terrible team. Need to iron some things out defensively. But I like what I've seen overall today. Nikki says they obviously took the ball out of Hurts' hands. Let's go into kind of the elephant in the room. And if it wasn't Jalen Hurts on the hot seat, it's Jonathan freaking Gannon. The Eagles put up 38 points against the Detroit Lions, and even that was not good enough. The Lions put up 35 points. There were missed tackles throughout the entire game, blown coverages, miscommunications, too many penalties. That's on offense and defense. But let's get into this defense because this defense was supposed to be a top 10 unit in the NFL, and I think it starts with the defensive line. The Eagles have the 5th highest paid defensive line this year in the NFL. I don't think they got an entire sack in this game. That is not good enough. I'll throw it to you, Shane. What's your take on Gannon's first game this season?
I want to back up for just a second to the Lions being not a terrible team.
Thank you.
They've won 11 games in the last 3 years combined. So let's not sugarcoat this. The Lions are a terrible football team with a horrific quarterback, and they put up 35 points on the Eagles defense that has a ton of talent, and they played awful in the run game. The defensive line either won and dropped the running back at the line of scrimmage, or it was a big gain because the linebackers were totally absent. I don't know where TJ Edwards was in this game. He gave absolutely nothing in the running game. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was horrific as a tackler. Now, granted, He's used to playing in the slot. He's playing different angles downhill as a safety. And I thought he was a good tackler. So hopefully that cleans up as he adjusts to a new position. But they could not stop the run if the defensive line did not immediately win. And there was no pressure on Goff all game. And so, yeah, Cox got 1 sack because Goff dropped a snap. That's the only reason the Eagles came out of the game with a sack. It was a really poor showing from the defense. And I've said this offseason, I had no faith in Jonathan Gannon. I still have no faith in Jonathan Gannon. I would call Vic Fangio. If I could swap Vic Fangio out by week 2 for Jonathan Gannon, I would do it in a heartbeat because Jonathan Gannon's just not it. He's just not.
Yeah. Modog says Fletcher Cox had a sack. It was on the fumbled snap. I forgot about that. There was another one that I think was really close, but Goff got just ahead of the line of scrimmage, so it wasn't counted as a sack. Nikki says, remember when Ryan Matthews, oh my God, right, fumbled versus the Lions for the L. Modog, linebackers were not as good as the hype. Wonder if Nakobe would have made the difference. I don't remember seeing him out there. I honestly
3 or 4 plays, I think I noticed.
I vividly remember Jordan Davis blowing up a couple of plays at least. The interior defensive line wasn't the problem. I think it was the edge rushers and the linebackers and everything else. Nikki says the Lions drops. They had at least 5 drops, Nikki. There were times in this game where, like, had they made a couple of catches against the Birds in crucial moments, this could be a completely different conversation right now. What about you, Rob? What was your take on Gannon today?
So before I get to my take, I want to make all the arguments the Gannon believers are going to make. Yes, the Eagles missed a lot of tackles, and that's on the players and not playing in the preseason and all that. They weren't getting home with the 4 guys, and, when they blitzed, I guess Goff had a little bit better numbers, not that any of his numbers were good. Okay, with that said, Jonathan Gannon, it's 31-14 going into the 4th quarter. You have a 17-point lead. Pin your ears back and beat the shit out of an inferior opponent. That's it. That's it. You weren't getting home with 4. The only good thing from the defense is your 2 outside corners played a pretty decent game outside of a couple plays. I noted the touchdown went over top of Slay, but he had pretty damn good coverage on that.
He was right there.
That might have been the best throw of Goff's career. I just, 35 points to that team, and stop with they have a deep backfield. The Lions stink. They stink. Dan Campbell is a joke of a head coach. Every coach on his staff is better than him and should be the head coach instead of him. He's an absolute joke. He has no idea. It's why a guy gets thrown out of that game because of the way he coaches and tells them to take out guys' kneecaps, and they're going head hunting for quarterbacks. That team stinks. They had no business scoring 14 points or whatever it was in that 4th quarter. You have got to be better. When you get a team on the ropes, that crowd was out of it. The game was over, and it should have stayed over. And everyone on that field got complacent. And where I agree, where some of the interior line was good, actually, all the young guys I thought played well. Fletcher Cox, I don't care about the sack, was not. He was non-existent from what I saw. He is just continuing to digress. But Milton Williams, Tuapolu, I thought had a really nice game, and I thought Jordan Davis made some big plays. And TJ Edwards, hey, if he don't play, if that's what you're going to get from him, I'd rather get the mistakes from Nakobe Dean, because how many times did a guy sneak out of the backfield of the tight end and Edwards was 3 steps late getting there? Let Nakobe Dean play if that's what you're going to get. Not a good performance, not making me feel all warm and fuzzy about Jonathan Gannon after week 1.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift was all over the field today. He had 170-plus yards. He had 45+% of the Lions' offense. We talked about this during our preview shows. We talked about this during our pregame shows. What Jonathan Gannon would do against a guy like DeAndre Swift, who can hurt you in many different ways. He's a versatile offensive player. 45+% of the team's offense. They had no answer for this guy for the majority of the game. There was a time during a stretch during that first to second quarter where they shut this team down, but overall, it was not great. What about you, Ty? What's your take on Gannon and Swift and everything else with his defense?
Well, first, I just want to point out that the Colts and the Texans just tied. And like the Bengals and the Steelers might tie as well. But, man, TJ Edwards had such a good camp and such a good preseason, and now it's just obvious that that's because it's preseason. DeAndre Swift, what's that?
Let's be clear. Like, the Eagles' run defense was exposed during the preseason. I know starters didn't play a lot, but that was a big take.
Yep. I just was thoroughly disappointed in the effort in general today defensively. I agree the outside corners played pretty well. The Chark catch in the end zone, I mean, Slay's all over him. I mean, that's good coverage. It's a great throw. But there might not be a worse passing quarterback than Jared Goff in football. Not the NFL. In fucking football. Sorry. Like, he missed wide open guys all day and had opportunities to hit him. If they play anybody, like, if they do that with Carson Wentz, he might carve him up, and that's Carson Wentz. Like, it was just brutal. And no pressure. After that first drive, I thought, okay, maybe knocking off some of the rust because we didn't play a whole lot in the preseason. Nope. No, the run defense is a real concern. And next week, they're going to have to figure it out really quick.
Yeah. All right, let's go in reverse. Let's talk about a positive today, and that was A.J. Brown's debut with the Philadelphia Eagles. Hold on, I'm getting some advertisements on my end. There we go. All right, A.J. Brown had an excellent game, 10 catches, 13 targets, 155 yards. Let me share my screen here so we can watch the 54-yard bomb. My computer's going very slow. There we go. All right, here's A.J. Brown, and arguably one of the best plays of the game. A.J. Brown, I thought, the Terrell Owens talk all training camp, all preseason. I kept hearing that because I'll be honest, I don't watch a lot of Tennessee Titans football, and every time I heard it, I'm like, dude, Terrell Owens is like one of the best wide receivers to ever play the NFL. There were times in this game where he looked simply dominant. That if there was any optimism going into week 2 against the Minnesota Vikings, that the chemistry between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts is definitely there. It's not Devontae Smith. We're going to talk about that later. But A.J. Brown at least definitely showed you a lot. I'm going to throw it in reverse. Ty, what was your thoughts on A.J. Brown?
Well, I mean, there's certainly a chemistry there. And he's a man. I mean, the catch that he made down at his ankles where he was wide open down the sideline and it was an underthrown ball, and I love Stink on the broadcasting. Oh, you saw him so wide open and missed him. It's like, no. That's not what pro quarterbacks do. And A.J. Brown pulled him out of the fire and made an incredible catch to make that worth something. I was super impressed with the separation he got. The catch in traffic he made early in the game coming across the middle, where I don't know that we've had a wide receiver who would have caught a ball with, I think there were 4 defenders just in his general vicinity. That's a huge upside for them. Looking forward to seeing that progress. I think it opens up other things for the Eagles. I don't think the Lions were doubling down on him. Next week, you can be sure that the Vikings are going to be shading him over the top and doubling him up. Shane probably has a better take on that. I was watching 2 kids run around while watching the game. I didn't get to I wasn't being able to pay as much attention to what over top help they have with him, but I was super excited about seeing that. That's the first time the Eagles have had a legitimate weapon that's not coming out of the backfield in a long time.
And I like what I saw at a third down. A.J. Brown, I think, is going to be a major third down target for Jalen Hurts. He had a few targets today. One of them, of course, the 54-yarder, but then he had a slant pass, which he was wide open. I don't understand why they didn't go to that more, especially given how much the Lions were overloading the box and blitzing Hurts again and again. That had to be a play that was wide open repeatedly, and they didn't do it.
I was really not enthusiastic about the offensive play calling. I don't know if anybody else is there with me.
I agree
thought
totally.
Yeah.
I thought it was like he was trying to play Madden.
Yep. What about you, Rob? What was your thoughts on AJ Brown?
Well, I mean, when was the last time we saw a 10-catch, 155 game from a Philadelphia Eagle wide receiver? I mean, it doesn't happen here often. You see it around the league. It was great to see. He's a man amongst boys. He's just a monster. His run after the catch, I mean, his yards, I mean, he's so strong. And I think what Ty said is right. I think as teams start to double him, you hope that Devontae Smith starts to pick up a little bit of that. You hope that Dallas got it. Now, I don't know with the Devontae Smith stuff who that was on more. But the one thing that I have fear of, because this is just who Jalen Hurts has proven to be as a quarterback, is he just going to lock in on A.J. Brown and cause a lot of problems for himself? I have to believe that some of those times where he ran too early, it's because AJ wasn't open and he didn't know, and he just went. He didn't look through his progressions. He didn't go to other guys. But as far as AJ Brown is, it's so nice to have a guy like him in this town for the next few years. What a performance! I mean, your first game as an Eagle, that's what you do. It's pretty special.
Yeah. What about you, Shane?
Yeah, Brown had a great game. I thought it was underrated on that deep ball that he caught. Just like rewatching that play, it was a good ball from Jalen Hurts. I would say it was underthrown by like a half a step, and you can see him like take that adjustment and that little stutter step to get the defender onto his back, and then he takes that next big step to create separation. Like, that was just so impressive to me from like a wide receiver technique. It was a very good ball, but it wasn't a perfect ball, and he made it a perfect ball with just those little subtle body moves downfield. And that's what he's so good at the catch point, is creating room to make catches like that for himself. He was as advertised. He played a really, really good game. I will be curious to see, what the next move is for the Eagles, because you can't throw the ball to A.J. Brown 13 times every game and then target your 2 and 3 wide receivers a combined total of 4. Like, that can't be something that you sustain. I really thought that we would see Devonta Smith, Quez Watkins more involved. Quez didn't even have a target. Devonta had 4, no catches. I need it, like Rob said, not to become predictable. And I'm glad he went off. I'm glad he had a great game. But I need to know that Hurts can throw to somebody else now if that's taken away. And so we'll see. If I'm the Vikings scheming up next week, we're bracketing A.J. Brown every single play. That's what I would be looking at doing, and seeing what Hurts' answer is to that.
Modog says if you take out the first drive, you have to give Jalen credit. He was running because the Lions were blitzing like their house was on fire. I will say there was a time period in the game, if you take out the first series, Jalen Hurts was like 10 of 13 for nearly 200 yards. He was playing very in the air. Yeah. He was playing really, really well. After that, the Eagles just took their foot off the pedal, offense and defense. And let's go on to this question. Contender or not contender? What's your reaction after game one? I'll throw it to you, Shane. Are the Eagles a contender?
For what? The Super Bowl or the division? Because the Eagles are still winning the NFC East, but they're not a Super Bowl contender.
No.
At least not the way that they play today. And that's not an overreaction on my part. I didn't consider them a Super Bowl contender before the season started. I considered them a team that probably wins the division and probably loses wild card weekend, because you can't play that type of a game against a playoff caliber opponent.
You replaced. Go ahead. Sorry.
So we can go back even to the blitzing thing. Like, I didn't think the offensive line played great in the first half. There were some very impressive plays that Hurts made with his legs. But then also, the answer to a blitz is not running. You know who was great against the blitz is Matthew Stafford. Have you ever seen him run? Like, that's not how you beat the blitz. You beat the blitz by getting the ball out quick. And, for example, that second to last drive, the Lions lined 7 guys up across the line of scrimmage. You had 6 guys in the protection. As soon as he snaps that ball and sees them all coming, he knows there's a free blitzer. And at the top of his drop, A.J. Brown is wide open over the middle of the field. And instead of hitting that plant foot, setting and throwing, he tries to immediately run. Yeah. That's not how you beat the blitz. That's not what a good football player does. And so he was running because there's a blitz, but that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to stand in a pocket and make a quick throw. Look at what to take it back to Thursday night, look at what Josh Allen did against the Rams with that instant pressure all game from Aaron Donald. He was getting the ball out quick. He was playing that quick game, and he made the Rams back off. Hurts has not shown he can do that. It's all deep shots, and he needs to hit those quick and intermediate throws.
I could not. Go ahead, Ty. Yeah.
We're built for that quick shot, right? A.J. Brown, catch and run guy. Devontae Smith, quick off the line. Like Goddard, manhandles people off the line. We are built for that quick game. He just doesn't see it. It's part of. It's interesting that a guy can see down the field as well as he does, because he's made a couple of good downfield throws when there's time or he gets outside of the pocket. But the quick game is just not there at all for him.
I'm just a little concerned that that blueprint. It's like a hitter, right? In Major League Baseball, like it's now up to Jalen Hurts to adjust. I think we're going to see this trend all season long. The NFL defenses are going to load up the box, make Jalen Hurts beat them with his arm, and blitz, and we'll see what happens. Let's get some comments real quick. John says Jordan Davis is the biggest man in the NFL, but I didn't see much from him.
I disagree.
Nikki, yeah, you were watching that game then.
I don't think that's the problem we should be talking about here.
I thought Jordan Davis made a lot of good plays. You know, that first drive, he didn't play it. Yeah, he didn't play it all in that first drive. When he got in there, you know, he was creating a little bit more havoc in there. I don't agree with that comment.
And he doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Like the impact he's making, you can go look at your Google stats. Jordan Davis isn't going to be there. Jordan Davis hogging up 2 offensive linemen and letting somebody come up like Jazir White and make a play is what he does. And he did that very well today. When he was in the game, I would love to know what their yards per carry was against when he was not in the game.
Yeah. Nikki says, why no screens to count on the blitz? That's the storyline of the game. That is definitely the one of the main talking points, like Shane just went in depth on. When you talk about A.J. Brown getting 13 targets and Goddard and Devontae Smith getting 8 targets, Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts had chemistry issues all year last year. They're not on the same page this year. I know Devontae Smith had at least one drop that they did not do a replay on the sideline. That looked like the pass was there, and it just did not get the catch. Outside of that, Devontae Smith was not a non-factor in this game. I thought Dallas Goedert was clear-cut, one of the biggest mismatches going forward into week 1, and he only had 4 targets. He had a few big plays, but they should have went to him more, I think. Kumar says no turnovers. Modog says it will be interesting to see if teams the rest of the year play Jalen Hurts the same way, and if Jalen Hurts can respond. I 100% agree with that. We tried screens. They just didn't set up well, and they will be practicing screens this week for sure. They had a couple of nice ones with A.J. Brown. Outside of that, it was basically
traditional screen.
Well, I wonder. I kind of wonder with the screens. Is this a Jalen Hurts issue again? Because there's got to be a, you got to draw the defense the other way. You got to have touch on the ball. Is this a Jalen Hurts issue again? I don't know. That's Shane. It looks at these things a lot better than we do. But that's something I look at and go, is that the issue? Is Jalen Hurts just not a good screen quarterback? I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Let's roll on to just kind of not final thoughts, but like any other extra thoughts on this game before we get into player of the game. I'll throw it to you, Ty. Anything you want to bring up and talk about?
Did anybody else think that Jalen Hurts took a ton of shots on slides today?
Yes.
That should have been flagged?
Yes.
A lot.
I was really surprised in a league that's supposedly protecting the quarterback that there were, I think, finally got flagged on the 4th one is what my count was at. The 3rd one, I believe the D-back was just a little over aggressive. I don't think he was intending to fall on him. It just, the momentum took him there. But the other 2, Hutchinson was the 2nd one, and I forget who the first one was pretty egregious. But all in all, I was just really, really disappointed in the overall game plan. I mean, I did have one.
Yeah.
Third down was
Go ahead.
great. The one thing that I was answered today that I was worried about in the offseason was Miles Sanders. I didn't know if Miles Sanders was a marquee number one
I was
back.
gonna say.
I thought he played well today. If he can play like that every week, in and out, we're okay back there. I'm still not sold on him as a number one guy yet.
I'm just gonna piggyback off of that and jump in. Miles Sanders was arguably had the play of the game. That huge run late in the fourth quarter. That's how close this game was. I mean, we were a play or two away from this game going either direction. And yeah, Quinn says player of the game, Miles Sanders. We'll get to player of the game soon.
Hold on.
But Miles Sanders showing me something. There were definitely some plays where he took contact and kept fighting through. I've never been a Miles Sanders guy, but he showed me a little something. Go ahead, Rob.
Shane, I want to ask you on that last play where he breaks the big run. To me, it seemed like he made it a lot more stressful than it needed to be if he just hits the hole first and doesn't run the wrong way to start the play and then have to make a cutback. Like when I watched the replay, I'm like, wait a minute. The hole was there from the get-go, but he ran to the right instead of going right to it. Fortunately, he's elusive enough. I thought he made way more work for himself on that play.
Yeah, I would have to watch that one again. I knew he ran in, got stopped up at the line. I need to watch a replay of it because I was freaking out a little bit too much at the moment to really give you proper analysis on that one.
Yeah. But no, let me just say that my thing was I thought as bad as the defense was where they were at their worst in that second half was third down defense. You got these guys in the 3rd and 10s and 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 6s over and over and over again. And whether it was letting a receiver be wide open, whether it was a really bad penalty, whatever the case may be, you allowed this team to stay in the game. Because as upset as we are with Jalen Hurts, the game should have been over, I'll say at 38-21. That's in the fourth quarter. That game should have been over at that point, and it wasn't because you as a defense allowed this team to hang around. And when you let an inferior team hang around, you give yourself a real good chance to lose, and they got lucky tonight. They got lucky. I'm going to have to sign off, though, so I just wanted to get that final thought in before I said that to you guys.
Who's your player of the game, real quick?
Oh, it's A.J. Brown. I mean, I don't think you can go any other way than A.J. Brown today. Because Miles Sanders, I would have liked to have done it, but the fact that he didn't demand to be back in that game late just pisses me off. Just straight pisses me off. So that's that. But boys, they'll be okay. I'm going to be positive at the end of the show. They'll be okay.
Love it. My man Rob Langy over there, @Philly_madness. Go check him out on Twitter. All right, Shane, any final thoughts, or not final thoughts, but anything else you want to bring up before we get into play the game? Although A.J. Brown's already off the list, so we can't pick him.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to reiterate how disappointing of a performance that was from Jonathan Gannon. I don't care about the missed tackles. That's not on him, whatever. But from a schematic standpoint, that was just pathetic performance from Gannon, who was my biggest thing I was concerned about on the defense. And I thought that was borne out today. I did not think he had a good plan. He did not have coherent pass rush and coverage strategies that worked hand in hand. There were no simulated pressures. It was vanilla. It looked like a preseason game, the way that he called defense with just a couple extra blitzes. And so Jonathan Gannon remains, in my opinion, with everything we've said about Hurts, Jonathan Gannon remains the biggest question mark with this team moving forward.
And I want to piggyback off of that. It was Miles Sanders because I've been killing him all off season. But the Eagles linebackers was supposed to be a major strength of this squad. And I thought Kaiser White made a few plays in this game that were big time plays that arguably probably are like one of the biggest game changing plays at the end of the day. But outside of that, like linebacking was supposed to be one of the best in Eagles recent history. And they gave up let me look at it. 6.5 yards per carry on the ground in this game. 3 touchdowns on 28 carries. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. So that was something that that sticks with me because that was something I was most excited about. TJ Edwards, although he made a nice play in coverage in the first half, is not good enough. We need to see definitely much more improved linebacking play and play from our edge rushers, I think. Quentin chimes in, offense and defense are vanilla, minimum trickeration. Let's go into player of the game. Although my man Rob already took A.J. Brown. I guess I'll go last. Shane, who's your player of the game?
I mean, are we not repeating? Because
No. This is how we roll. You have to pick someone else.
All right. Well, I'll leave Miles Sanders for somebody else, and I'll say I thought Marcus Epps played a nice game.
Nice.
Coming in, he was the third safety last year. He looked good in limited reps. He's handed a starting job this year. You know, the question was how would he respond with more snaps, and I thought he played really well. He led the team in tackles. He triggered downhill on that 3rd and 1 down near the goal line, triggered downhill and gets the stop in the gap there. He had another 3rd down breakup in tandem with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson on a corner route that he did not look out of place. I'm not going to say he looked like a superstar player. He did not look out of place. He looked like a starting caliber safety, and that's huge for the Eagles if he becomes that. So I'll go Marcus Epps. Thought he had a good game.
Quinn says player of the game is the Lions wide receivers' bad hands. They had at least 5 drops. What about you, Ty?
Whatever equipment guy was greasing the footballs for the Lions, that's the player of the game.
So I have 2, and neither of them are really.
No. Just pick one because I need one. No.
The one's a joke. The one's a joke. You won't. The one is Jared Goff for just being awful. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen a quarterback with as open a pocket, as safe of a pocket as he had a couple of times, just blatantly missing guys. And then guys dropping the ball, too. So Jared Goff, definitely player of the game for the Eagles. But the other guy is.
You want to know something funny?
What's that?
Jared Goff's passer rating was at 80.4. Jalen Hurts was at 80.6.
Yep.
Anyways, go ahead. Go ahead.
But the real player of the game today, in my opinion, doesn't have to do with today's game. It is Jason Kelce making the start week 1 after elbow surgery, and just as a lifelong Eagles fan, seeing him out there today was pretty great. I wanted to leave Miles Sanders for Chris if he wanted him. I really can't think of anybody else that really stood out at this point. Maybe Milton Williams. I thought he played pretty well in the interior when he got a chance. I really like Milton Williams. I think he's a good player. I think that he replaces Cox at some point in the near future because I agree with Rob's approach on Cox. I believe he just continues to regress.
I'm not taking Miles Sanders. I'm going to go in a different route. And you look at one of the key weaknesses of the Eagles team last year, and what was that, guys? It was defensive takeaways. You look at a 33-35 ball game. I'm going James Bradbury. That pick 6 was a major moment in this game. Looking back at that, how close this game was. James Bradbury, I thought the outside corners played well, minus that touchdown over Darius Slay's shoulder, which I thought he had great position in that throw. I thought the Eagles, Darius Slay, James Bradbury had a fine game. Outside until really like halfway through the 3rd quarter, Amon-Ra St. Brown was literally doing nothing in this game. And then kind of Jonathan Gannon did Jonathan Gannon things, and I think I'm going to go James Bradbury because if the Eagles can get defensive takeaways, which was one of the biggest weakness points in the team last year, we'll be okay. The Eagles will be okay because they got none of that last year, including sacks. Do we have a loser of the game? Do we want to pick a loser?
Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, Brandon Graham. Where the hell was Brandon Graham in this game? Did anybody hear Brandon Graham's name? Or I know Josh Sweat had a couple of hurries or
I think he did
pressures.
get credited with half of that sack that Fletcher Cox got.
Did he?
I think he got a half a sack off of that one. But yeah.
I think that you gotta throw Gannon out there. When you score 38 points in a football game, and you made as many defensive changes in the offseason as the Eagles have, or should I say defensive improvements, according to all of the reporters and every prognosticator out there, to give up 35 points to the Detroit Lions I mean, Jonathan Gannon is the loser today. I mean, he's
couldn't agree
0-1. He is
I
0-1.
could not agree more. Let's close up shop. We pretty much went through all this. Shane, plugs. Your time is yours. Anything you want to bring up?
Yeah, give me a follow on Twitter at @halfandhalf_TPL. Hopefully, if NFL Game Pass works properly, I'll have some all 22 videos dropping this week. In addition to Birds of the Round Table Tuesday night, I'll do a Chalk Talk Tuesday night, a review show. Do another Chalk Talk late in the week as a preview show. So lots of content coming your way to celebrate week 1 of the NFL season. Make sure you're tuned to the Painted Lines and to me on Twitter to make sure you catch it all.
Oh, man. My man Shane, if you're an Eagles fan and you're not following him already, my man Shane breaks down the latest clips and breakdowns right away. And if you're following him now, follow him now. You'll thank me later, man. It's awesome stuff, man. Shane breaks it down. What about you, Ty? My man Ty Book.
So we are all into football season, which I'm super pumped about. I'll be here anytime Chris will have me. But we are also Bucket Hat and Birdie time. Our YouTube site is about to launch this week with 2 rounds that we did 9-hole matches with a couple of awesome players, a couple guys that shot under par. And then we also have the Instagram at TyGolf9. Check that out. It's a lot of fun. And the Phillies might make the playoffs.
They should make the playoffs.
Yes, they should.
Put that Eagles hat back on, man. This is an Eagles show. All right. Party on Broad will go down tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. As always, me and Rob will be breaking it down. Expect a ton of Eagles highlight reels, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, all that and more over the next several hours. So please be sure to subscribe here. Go check out Edge of Philly Sports, our new partner, and Philly Sports Alliance. Old partner, but we love them just as much. We are live streaming there. Amazing Facebook, Philly Sports content creators over there. So please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that and above. Thank you to everyone who commented today. It was a lot of fun. Eagles get the W. They move on to 1-0 in the season. It wasn't all great, but it is week 1. Let's throw it out the window. The Eagles are 1-0 moving forward. So that's what matters most, and no real major injuries, at least from my perspective, unless someone else saw something. So again, thank you everyone for watching. We'll be back all week this week breaking down the upcoming week 2 matchup with the Minnesota Vikings. For Ty, for Shane, for myself, stay awesome, everyone. Go Birds. Let's go.